All right, and moving on to our next team, right? Most regress, least improved teams from just a year ago, and this is a pretty obvious answer, but we have to talk about it, right? Defending runner-ups from just a year ago, Washington. They lose a ton, not only the coaching staff wise, but player wise. They're going to have just a brand new roster, up and down, brand new faces in the facilities, everything, everybody learning together, and obviously pair that with, like you said, Matthew, a travel schedule which has you go to Rutgers in Piscataway, New Jersey, and then in other places in the Big Ten, as well as at Penn State in Beaver Stadium. So yeah, this is not something you wanted in year one under Jed Fish, a coach that we like as a coach. I think he's a really good hire for him. I think he's brought in some nice transfers. I think he did a really, really good job of developing, bringing talent at Arizona. And I think he could do the same at Washington if you give him time. But this year, I don't know, man. 12-0 last year in the regular season, and their overall total is at 7.5. Now, Michigan last year was 12-0, and they lose a ton of pieces. They lose their coaching staff and their portal, but their overall total is 9.5, right? Much different. And they have a tough schedule, too. They have Texas out of conference, right? So what happens here? I just think regression to the mean and a ton of players lost for Washington.
Yeah, I think it's like you look at that passing attack, and it was such an outlier, and you lose dang near everything from that, right? Right? I mean, well, your biggest pieces, right? Michael Penix, uh, obviously Roma Dunze. You lose Troy Fontano. You lose your center as well. He headed over to Alabama. You lose Ryan Grubb, that offensive coordinator. He's going to be the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks this upcoming season. Yeah, it was just such an outlier when you lose all of that. I mean, for starters, Washington also lost a lot of talent on defense. All right, let's not kid around there. I believe they're 92nd in returning production on defense, 134th, last in the country in returning production on offense, or second to last. Someone must be worse. So there's 135 teams this year. So I guess one team is worse, but they're 130th overall. The only other teams that are down there with them, Georgia State, Del McGee's new head coach there. Buffalo, they got a new head coach there. Ohio just got shredded by the portal offensively. They just got shredded. Poor Ohio, man. And then Troy, you had a head coach switch. Michigan had a head coach switch. North Carolina just stinks. JMU had a head coaching switch. UL Monroe had a head coaching switch. Oregon State had a head coaching switch. I mean, all these teams, New Mexico, did they had a head coaching switch, right?
Yep.
It's our guy. Rocky
From
Long.
Bronco Mendenhall.
Bronco Mendenhall. Duh.
Rocky Long. Oh my god.
But it is right. Mentee of Rocky Long. Mentee of Rocky Long. That 4.25 over there. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough spot. And like you said, the schedule. I mean, here's the thing. With Michigan, you didn't rely on the quarterback play, right? You didn't rely on the quarterback play to be a great team. And they did a good job stacking talent, I think. And they've also had a history of development. Now, not that Washington and Michigan are two prime examples of, outperforming the recruiting rankings consistently. I mean, look at Washington. The NFL talent that Washington has put out there relative to their star ratings is nuts. It is nuts. Actually absurd. If you go back and look, that's your homework, guys. You viewers, besides liking and subscribing, commenting, whatever, your homework is to figure out, look at all those Washington Huskies players, where they were rated in high school and where they went in the NFL draft, because it is absolutely bonkers. So, and to add to that list are two, potentially three first rounders that are coming out in the draft this year for Washington. So that just too much for a program like Washington. This is just too much. Plus the move to the Big Ten, plus the outlier that you had in the passing game, and you lose it. I mean, plus all the coaching staff. There's just too much you lost, man. There's just too much. So I think 7.5 is a pretty good line here. Let's see. You got Weber State, you can win. Eastern Michigan, you can win. Washington State, you can win. Northwestern, you can win. Rutgers, you can win. Indiana, you can win for sure. Like, those are like six, like, hey, I feel really, really good about those 6 wins. And then you just look at USC, I mean, Penn State, UCLA. Now you get UCLA at home, which is nice. Oregon, Michigan. I mean, man, it's not the toughest Big Ten schedule, but it's still tough. It's still going to be tough. You get Oregon, Penn State, and Michigan.
No favors there in year one. It's also like the dynamics of it, right? At Iowa, at Rutgers, games that you've feel like you should win. You should have an advantage there, but you're going across the country and playing in pretty hostile environments, especially in Iowa City, as well as, damn near long ass flight all the way to New Jersey from Seattle. So we'll see here. I obviously again we root for Washington because you just feel bad, for everything that happened there. It was a tough early January, wasn't it? After very high riding Sugar Bowl win over Texas. And then, but hey, we talked about that's the ebbs and flows, that's the ups and downs, the cyclical nature of college football, right? A
No,
program
we
like
love
Washington,
Jedfish.
you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And maybe they'll overachieve. Will Rogers could be a dude. I love Jeremiah Hunter. I love Jeremiah Hunter for you and to pair him with Jed Fish's offense there. So we'll see. We shall see.